So that's yet another place where NetSuite uses AI. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the future.
Welcome to ERP on Tap, your steady flow of everything you want to know about NetSuite and Acumatica. The podcast where we dive into practical tips, expert insights, and real-world examples, exploring the tools, tips, and tricks you need to make your business processes flow like never before.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan McKee.
And I'm Maker Harrison.
And this week on ERP on Tap, we have a special guest.
A NetSuite consultant who has over a dozen years in the trenches helping businesses cut down on manual work, improve their accuracy, and get more out of their NetSuite investment.
Yeah, and today he's going to be specifically sharing 5 practical tools that could save you hours and boost your efficiency. Whether you're just getting started or you're looking to sharpen your NetSuite skills or make your day-to-day NetSuite navigation easier.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear what he has to say because somebody who works in ERP daily, I'm always looking to be more efficient, figuring out how I can do things better. And just someone who knows NetSuite, I'm really new to it too. So it's just cool to just see what the other platform can do. So I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Ikra. It's like, I mean, let's be honest. NetSuite's pretty big. It's a robust platform. And for first-time users, sometimes there's kind of like this perception of, okay, I saw demos of all this stuff, but what do I click first? Where do I start, right?
Yeah, and I think that's why our guest is going to be so helpful, just because those tips and tricks are going to be just so practical for those new users.
Yeah.
But even if you're just new to that platform or just getting used to it, it helps you kind of just know like a little those tips and tricks ahead and just kind of get ahead.
Yeah, no, totally true. Listeners, what about you? Jump in our comments and let us know. Are you a new NetSuite user, seasoned NetSuite user, maybe just even checking out NetSuite, or maybe you're just tuning in about ERP in general? We'd love to hear from you. How many years have you been in the system? If you're in the system, comment really quick. Literally, you could just type 5-year user or haven't used it yet. We'd love to know, and the algorithm loves it when you do comment. So as always, if you find value what you hear today, we like to bring you practical tips, and that helps us help you. So take a few seconds to click that like and subscribe button so you can be the first to glean new content as it's released. Ikra, we missed you in the last episode. You were traveling, right?
Yeah, I was actually traveling all summer long. I was in Virginia, and then I spent some time in Italy visiting my sister. It was a great time.
Oh my gosh. No, wait a sec. Now, I don't even know. Sister, were you guys just both visiting Italy? Does someone live over there? Or were you just touring it for a while?
We were both visiting Virginia because my brother was getting married and then she's pregnant. And so I volunteered as tribute because she couldn't travel alone. So who wasn't going to take up a trip to Italy? So she lives there. So I was able to go and just meet, spend time with her family, her in-laws, and just really kind of like just be with the family. And, I saw some of Italy, but it was really just more of the family environment that I really wanted to be around. And so I got that.
That's totally cool. Now, does anybody speak Italian, or were you guys just kind of make and go?
No, she did. So I didn't know that this is part of like the Italian residency, but you have to go through a whole school to learn the language. There's a test, there's a certification. And so she knows how to speak Italian fluently, read it. And then her husband is actually Albanian. So she's learned Albanian too. She picked up on that. So she's like multi-trilingual, all over the place. Really impressive.
That's legit. That's so cool. Well, I'm glad to have you back. This is fun. And plus we've got a fun topic today, so it'll be good. I mean, you actually don't know NetSuite, you know Acumatica very well. So for you to be able to kind of get a peek in on some of the tips and tricks for NetSuite users, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue. Let's introduce our guest. Today's guest comes from a long career in operations management for a manufacturing and distribution company in his hometown of La Crosse, Wisconsin.
So that definitely means he loves cheese.
Yeah. And the Packers, right? And his NetSuite experience started in 2013. He implemented NetSuite at his company and provided NetSuite administration duties for a single manufacturing subsidiary, and later took those responsibilities over company-wide. It wasn't long before he began using those skills to train others. Now he works as a NetSuite consultant at Portello, helping businesses streamline their systems with NetSuite. And in his free time, spending time with his family, fishing, boating, and trying to get around to golfing whenever possible. So let's bring him on, my friend and coworker, Kurt Delap. Kurt, great to have you here. Welcome to ERP on Tap.
Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Ikra. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
appreciate the cheese comment too, by the way.
That's right, because I know you've never heard that before.
Well, we do love cheese.
It's my favorite thing about you, Kurt.
It looks like I eat a lot of cheese. Yes.
No, just that you live in a state with cheese, and cheese is, who doesn't love cheese?
Yeah.
Well. I know. It's like, it's funny how certain states get these reps of, like potato state, right? The cheese state, whatever. And I always, one thing I think is funny is like, whenever I tell someone I'm from California and I'm talking to someone out of state, they're always like, oh, California must be nice by the beach, drinking a little drink with an umbrella in it all the time, huh? And I'm like, I'm like, I'm like 3 hours from a beach. All right. I live kind of more in the mountains, but anyway,
well, you hear about Florida, so I don't think that's any better.
That's right. We're just like, are you okay? Did you die in that last hurricane?
Or alligators or something funny happening in the news. It's always somebody in Florida.
Yeah, that's right. Look, an 18-foot alligator we just chased away. So that's funny. Kurt, I got to ask you, though, I don't want to just assume, are you indeed a Packers fan like most Wisconsin residents?
Absolutely. We adore them. We always love them. That's tradition. Any opportunity that, and I would suggest to anybody out there that's a football fan, opportunity to go to Lambeau Field, take it, because it is a unique experience and it's so much fun. I can't even imagine it. So absolutely.
I heard the tour is great, even if you're not a Packers fan. I drove past the stadium and I thought, oh, someone told me to go on that tour. So
the tour is excellent.
Did you end up doing it? Did you end up doing it, Jonathan?
No, I didn't end up doing it. I didn't. I wanted to. That's it. Kurt gives the tour. No.
Well, next time I'm in Wisconsin, if ever. But Kurt, our listeners are super excited about what you're bringing today. So, which are the 5 tools that simplify daily tasks, improve accuracy, and save some serious time. So, with that, let's just dive in. What's tool number 1?
Absolutely. Obviously, as a new user to NetSuite, I deal with clients on a daily basis. And, when they first get into NetSuite, it can be a little bit daunting. So my first topic is always, there is help to get, where there's plenty of support resources within NetSuite, right? And I always like to use this anecdote too, from when I was a younger person, and we had a hosted software platform, and they pointed me to, how do I figure out how this software platform will work? And they pointed me to a shelf, and it's stack upon stack upon stack of spiral binding books. And thank God we moved on to that, because NetSuite does have tools that are available, right? First one I always like to point out to people is Suite Answers. Suite Answers is an indexed, searchable database of all relevant help topics, everything that you can possibly imagine that they have worked on as far as a case or any question that support has been asked. It gets logged into Suite Answers, and it is searchable, and you can find it. They've also added a new AI function that actually takes multiple relevant search topics and then puts them in a cogent formatted answer that would help you direct your actions. So it's a very usable tool.
Yeah. And Ikra, I know you're not as familiar with NetSuite because your world is Acumatica. Suite Answers, they kind of refer to as like the Google of NetSuite. I mean, you just literally, how do I do this? Videos, instruction, everything. It's super robust.
Oh, that's really exciting. I mean, and it's good to bring that up early on in the implementation, I would say, just as a consultant. It just feel like gives them the tools to be able to be successful from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. It's just support case, and it's based, and it's just a super powerful tool. The other tool that is available right off the bat is on every every page, right, there is a little question mark up in the top of the window screen that will transport you to a help file, right? So it's not only Suite Answers, it is a straight direct link from whatever record page you are in NetSuite to the relevant help file. And the help file, again, is also searchable as well. It gives you step-by-step instructions, anything that you might need to ask about how to enter a sales order or how to invoice a sales order, for instance. You can navigate directly from that. It just gives you that very powerful click. And the other thing the help file does have is everybody loves PDFs, right? If you prefer to look at a PDF, it contains relevant documentation in PDF form in that help file for every topic, every module within NetSuite. It contains best practices, step-by-step instructions, relevant process flows, flow diagrams, anything like that. So that's another tool that is always available to a new user trying to figure out NetSuite.
That's great.
Do you, as a consultant, use it? Because I find myself referring to my help topic that in Acumatica, not all the time, but every once in a while, I need a quick refresher.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I mean, I like to say I feel like I'm an expert level NetSuite user consultant, but there's always refresher you have to do. So even for a seasoned user, using those tools that are available and out of the box, again, they are available and they're available for any new user to use. So very powerful tool.
Good.
Another support resource is also there's Oracle NetSuite community. You can sign up for an Oracle account, and they maintain a robust Ask the Guru community that you can actually ask other NetSuite users how they might do something, right? Also, back in my previous life, I was a member of a local NetSuite user group. It was statewide. We would have meet and greets. We'd have some dinners, lunches, that sort of thing, just exchange ideas and that sort of thing. So there's just so many resources out there for new users.
That's super cool. I love it, man. Gosh, and we're only on the first one, support resources. Those are some great support resources. What else you got for us, Kurt?
The other tool that I always like to, introduce and is a new user to is when we start an implementation or a services agreement or any kind of client I'm working for, I want to make sure that they recognize all of the tools are available to navigate in NetSuite. Obviously, if you're on this page, you probably had exposure to, or if you're watching this podcast, you've seen the NetSuite interface, and it is menu based, right? The question I frequently get is, where on the menu can I find this particular page? Where can I enter a sales order? Where can I receive a purchase order? The menu is definitely intuitive, right? If you get used to it. However, there's just a number of other tools that you can use. Number one that I always bring up is global search, right? There is a nice little bar up there, just like your Google web page, just like your Chrome web page. Type in whatever it is you want to type in, and you can find it as long as that information is within NetSuite, right? That's where I always tell people, start in global search, just because that's the quickest, most pain-free way to find the record that you're trying to look for, right? Find that customer, find that employee. You can use wildcards, right? You can search using a wildcard either at the beginning or the end. You can combine it together. If you can't quite find that record, global search, again, operates kind of the same way as an internet search engine does.
Do normal NetSuite users know what wildcards are? Because I'm lost right now, so I'm not gonna lie.
That's an excellent question. A wildcard in NetSuite, the most commonly used is a percent sign, right? So let's say that you have a customer you're a customer service agent working in NetSuite, and you only got their last name. For instance, you can use a wildcard in front of the percent sign, type in percent, the last name, and it'll bring up every single possible combination of customers or records using that. So it just searches, if you only have 3 numbers to a zip code, or 3 numbers to a transaction or anything like that, you can use that wildcard.
It's like bringing in all possible records associated. Okay, cool. Okay, I mean, obviously now when you say wildcard, it makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. No,
but
thanks for clarifying, man. We love
I mean, I'm not technical, and I just feel like that, like when you're adding characters to your search, that just speaking a different language. So
yeah, right. So it's just about drilling down to it. The other thing that
yeah.
NetSuite Global Search can use, is they recommend prefixes, right? If you know that the record you're looking for is a sales order, you can type in the word SAL : and then bring up a wildcard 1, 2, 3, 4, and it'll bring up all sales orders that contain in order 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So it's just a tool that you can use to start looking through there.
That's awesome.
And the other thing that NetSuite does really well is record links. Right. So obviously when we talk about a relational database table, all the tables are linked together through a common record. What NetSuite does is out of the box is they include a related records subtab that is easy for you to transport to all related sales orders from a given customer, right? If you look at an item record, it's going to give you that sublist right away that says these are all of the related sales, or these are all the related transactions that this item is on to. So again, I always point that out, that you always don't have to go back to your home page. You don't have to go back to the menu. You can link through from multiple different, there's a relationship between 2 transactions. You can, quickly transport to anything related to that given record page that you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's super helpful, just especially for the new users, because they don't know that bridge already exists. And it's always like homepage. Oh, I have to click so much to go find this next thing. So it's good to just bring that up early on and just get them used to it. So love it. So what's the next one?
The thing that it could fall under, and I'm sure you probably have talked about underused features, but I feel like as a new user, it's very important to look at your dashboard, right? Because in Acumatica, you have a dashboard, right? You have that main landing page that everybody loves. And I think it's something that gets glossed over, when somebody's implementing NetSuite. Well, here's your dashboard, and you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. However, if you just take a little bit of time at the front end and create and configure your dashboard, showing your shortcuts to frequently viewed reports, right? Showing your navigational keys to, if you're a salesperson, you can create a navigational list to all sales related records, right? Charts, analytics, KPIs. I feel like that's a very important tool, and it makes new users especially feel like their environment is customized to them. So I really like to always point that out to new users. It's a very powerful tool to use.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of the various roles that people have, obviously someone, a CFO has a much different dashboard than somebody on the warehouse floor. So it's so cool that you could have what you need. Here's the tasks I need to do. Here's the reports I want to see. One of our consultants once told me, if it's in NetSuite, I can put it on a dashboard. And that's kind of cool, because each of us probably has a certain thing that would be like the first thing we'd want to look at every day. And it's nice to know that you could, you don't have to just go with what, this pre-configured dashboard. You could, that's what our consultants do. We help get what you want to see right there in front of you, so that you kind of have, can make the right decision at the right time based on that information in front of your face.
Definitely. And you bring up a good point, and it's something I didn't come up with. It, depending on the edition that you sign up for, there are pre-configured dashboards. They're there and they're available from a CEO hands-off level all the way down to an operation, or let's say a warehouse operator or a warehouse supervisor. These are preconditioned dashboards out of the box, available to use right off the bat. So
it's kind of cool.
I'm glad you said that, because that's really what was sitting on the top of my mind, where I was like, do you have to build these from scratch, or do they have ones that you can build off of? So it's great that NetSuite has that, and then you can have a place to start instead of starting from scratch.
Yep, definitely. And they are publishable, right? An administrator or a power user can actually take those dashboards, make the framework, and publish them to all users of the particular role to maintain a little bit of a control, right? So let's say a sales manager wants all of his or her sales representatives to see the same data that he or she sees, right? You can control that just to make sure, and you can push that to all individual users as well.
Yeah.
That's efficient.
And let me just chime in here real quick too. Listeners, as you're listening to this, for those of you that are experienced in NetSuite, and so far we've had 3 of these tools shared. Hey, what are the tools you use? Chime in, jump in the comments. How do you use dashboards? How do you use those searches? Tell us about it. We want to hear. Many of us, we could learn from you. So please jump in on the comment section.
Yeah, I learned so much from users. I tell you what, because every time that I sit down and talk to somebody new, they represent a new challenge, right? They have their business, they have what they like to do, and I just really enjoy being able to show them what NetSuite can do and kind of move those together and carry it over throughout the rest of my consulting life too.
And sometimes we'll look and go, I didn't even know it could do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I just saw one the other day.
That's awesome.
Sorry. Awesome. I just saw one the other day. A user was entering a journal entry, and he actually entered a formula. A journal entry, if you don't know, it's a financial entry where you can just enter numbers against an account. And he entered a formula into the number where I would type a number. He entered a formula in there, and it calculated for him. So I didn't even know it could do that.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't know if that's good or bad on me or what, but it was a pretty cool little feature that you can do.
Yeah. Well, the day I stop learning, I need to go do something else.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I mean, so far so good. I'm loving all of these tips and tricks that have come through. What's your next one? I think we're on number 4. Yeah. I mean, if you have more, the merrier. But give me all the tips.
The thing that I always point out to new user are reports and searches. And I always try to point out, number one, a report and a search are really a foundational, powerful tool in NetSuite that makes it unique over anything else that I've ever experienced in my career, right? NetSuite searching and reporting tools are extremely powerful. They generate and they move data through your system. They present it in a way that makes sense to your business to help you grow your business. So the thing that I always like to point out in those first work sessions that we always talk about, it's support, it's navigation, it's dashboard, and then it's talking about how to get the information that you need to run your business, right? I always tell the difference. Here's the difference between a report and a search, right? A report gives you a moment in time data point. Like if you wanted to look back and see how much inventory value you had a month ago, there's a report for that, right? And it's out of the box, pre-built, ready to work. As long as you start flowing data into your account, you can navigate on your menu, go right to it, and you can look at your inventory value as it was, a month ago, for instance. The search is a more powerful tool in that you can use not SQL, but you can present additional data, and there's additional fields that you can use, but it is a current search, right? It is looking at data as it sits at the time that you're looking for the search. So that's really what I like to point out.
Good clarification.
Yep, definitely. And another thing that people don't recognize that they can do, I have a client that is a multi-subsidiary client, for instance, and they have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of item records, right? But they're not subsidiary specific. So you can use a search as a filter on a sales order to only show sales or items on that sales order available to add to it if it's available to the subsidiary and the user role that person is using. So you can use those search as sublist filters. It's a very powerful tool, and I think it's a little bit underutilized, but I would like to show that it can speed up and make your data entry more efficient.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Yeah. Another thing that searches can allow for, I always like to, and there's a couple of different ways to approach this, right? Let's say that you have constantly evolving customer records that you have to edit, right? Let's say that they change their email address. Let's say that, they need to they change their category or their status. You can create a search of customers, and as long as the search is set up, you can edit the customer record right in the search rather than go to the customer record itself to make a change. Let's say that their email address changes from ... at google.com or gmail.com, and it's going to change to this. You can go to the search and you will have a list of all of your customers right in there, and then you can just edit the record from within that search. It's called inline editing, and it's a very powerful tool for people to use.
It's like on the fly. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
On the fly. Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Final thing, man, I'm telling you, did you guys see that webcast the other day or the webinar the other day on artificial intelligence?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And that helps this, right? I mean, the whole searching.
Absolutely. It's called Right Insight. What it is actually it's built within NetSuite that helps you use artificial intelligence to analyze search results right in NetSuite, right? You can ask for instance, your top, you put in a search result, let's say it's all of your open invoices, and then you can put in a question and ask a question about that data, and it'll spit out a table in a format. It'll say that, hey, what's my top 5 customers with the largest open accounts receivable balance in it, right? It's a super powerful tool. And we're really excited about it.
I'll link, just in case listeners, you guys didn't catch that webinar that we did here at Portello. I'll link it down below in the notes so you guys can see it for yourself. This tool is actually something our team at Portello developed that is using AI for these searches. It's pretty cool. Take a peek at it, see what you think. That's something that's available. But yeah, what a cool thing. I mean, NetSuite already has so many great tools that you've mentioned here, and that's just kind of a nice AI addition. And let's be honest, I mean, AI, we're developing a lot of this stuff. As a matter of fact, ICRA, you were just in a meeting where our president announced that we're actually developing that on the Acumatica side as well. Just a little insert right there. Yeah.
I know. So, Kurt, be ready. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, super excited to expand that to Acumatica too. I think it's going to be super robust and just honestly just take us to the next level.
Yeah, be ready for our AI overlords to.
That's funny.
It's happening.
No, I was just joking. Everybody loves it. AI is the tool of the future, and I'm just really excited that we were able to get on the forefront of it and develop that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, you've got 4 good ones so far. We've got time for one more. Kurt, tell us what's one more tool in this area. We'd love to see it, whether you're an experienced NetSuite user or one that's been at it for a while. I'm sure some of these things are maybe you're bringing up some things that we at least need a refresher on, if not new to us. What's the 5th tool you got for us?
The last one, it's boring. However, I always point out that CSV imports, the import portal that NetSuite puts out, is a ridiculously easy and time-saving tool that people don't make use of, and they're not aware that a functional user can do. They don't need coding experience. They don't need heavy database experience. All they need is a working knowledge of Excel and CSV files and how the data goes into NetSuite, and they can import any data that they want to. Anything that you can do through the user interface, you can do via CSV import. I always liken it to, for instance, I work for a very large manufacturing company, and they not frequently, but on a quarterly basis need to change about 100,000 line records for their manufacturing bills of materials. And I'll spare you the details. However, if a person had to actually go in and edit every single one of those 100,000 lines on a quarterly basis, they would probably go insane, right? Records in NetSuite, if they're supported, and the vast majority of the records in NetSuite do support CSV import, updating, and new records. So, and I always like to, again, all of these points are sessions that we have during that implementation process, during our services process. And I always want to point out that it is a tool that you should use and get good at it and use it to your advantage, because it is a tremendous time saver.
That's great. That's great.
On that note, Kurt, I will be blocking some time on your calendar to see how functional friendly it is, because I am not technical, so I want to see it. I want to learn it. So stay tuned.
Hey, if you can read and you know what the fields you're trying to update, then you can do it. So that's what
words are hard sometimes.
And Kurt, Ikra keeps saying she's not technical, but she's brilliant,
I'm
and
not.
she learns this stuff fast.
I don't believe that one.
I will absorb it, don't get me wrong, but when we start talking wildcards and percentage symbols and ampersands, and I'm like,
it's all a ruse, Kurt. It's all a ruse. She's brilliant. So
I appreciate that.
Kurt, thank you so much. I mean, we really, honestly, we appreciate your time today. This is great, because I know our listeners appreciate practical tools, stuff you can use day to day. And maybe for some of them, they're like, oh, I know that and I know that, but I never really thought about that with CSV. So thank you. Really good stuff.
Oh, anytime, man. I really enjoyed it. And thank you guys for having me on. It was a lot of fun. It broke up my afternoon. So.
Yeah. Honestly, this is probably my favorite episode. Don't tell Travis. But no, it was just, honestly, the way you explained it, honestly, it was just so easy to follow. And I feel like I was in NetSuite as you were talking, and I just learning them as it happened.
I just DM'd Travis and told him that. So
good. Absolutely.
Oh no.
That's it.
Can we edit that out?
No, not at all. Well, listeners, what about you? Which of these tools have you tried? How have they helped? And gosh, we only shared 5 tools today. What are some of the other essential tools that you as listeners have found helpful? Jump in the comments below, chime in. We'd love to hear from you. And if you found this helpful, feel free to take a moment and hit that like and subscribe button so we can continue to bring you more tools. You know how it works. It helps the algorithm. It helps us. It helps us help you. So we always want to drive efficiency. Our hope is to provide you with a steady flow of free content about all things NetSuite and Acumatica. I'm Jonathan McKee.
I'm Ikra Harrison.
And this has been another episode of ERP on Tap.